These theories will make you question everything. So remember, this is for entertainment purposes only. Let's check it out.
This is the truth about the multiverse and if we actually live in one. This could be possible because every decision you make leads to a different outcome, which could be the cause of different realities being formed. And if you're wondering how that's possible, I broke all that down in my butterfly effect video. Believe it or not, there's something that could be a possible gateway to a multiverse. This invention is called CERN. And if you don't know what CERN is, it's a machine that accelerates and collides particles which causes new elements to form. Which is why people are saying that this new element made a shift in our reality. And we all know that The Simpsons is known for predicting things. Well, in this clip, they predicted this happening too.
A black hole?
It's the preferred term, and most scientists believe that what enters a black hole never comes out. But some think they may be a gateway to other universes.
This can also explain the Mandela effect, which is us remembering things that never happened. For example, we all remember the saying, mirror, mirror on the wall. What if I told you it never went like that? Go ahead and take a listen.
Magic mirror on the wall.
Ain't no way.
Who is the fairest
Ain't no
one?
way.
We all remember a different version of that, which could have been a different reality. And the Mayan calendar predicted the world ending in 2012, even making a whole movie about it. Well, another theory is that we combine our reality with a different one to make sure it didn't happen. This CERN machine can literally be the future of time travel and who knows what else. Y'all can let me know what you think in the comment section, but
In my world, in my universe, let me just say it that way. It was mirror, mirror on the wall. I don't know what universe y'all are tapped into or whatever. And if we're in the same one or in similar ones, y'all's went mirror, mirror on the wall. I never heard magic mirror on the wall. Stop it. You're not going to convince me of that. I'm sorry. And then the Hadron Collider, what he was speaking about with CERN, it's so many different conspiracy theories surrounding that thing, whether or not it controls gravity. You know, what could it create a black hole? It's so many different theories surrounding that thing. So that thing makes me nervous anytime it's brought up or mentioned.
I have a theory. What if life as we know it is one giant loop? As you see in a video, is of it zooming out from the Earth into the universe and the galaxies and everything like that. And we know that the smallest particle is an atom. So what if when you're zooming out, you're really zooming in? Because you're just one big, large body. But when you break you down to your cells on a molecular level, you just get this reality again. Look at this video. Like, isn't that what it looks like when they show the body? Like, look, watch this next part when they get out of, look at that. Nerves. Does that not look like nerves? How is that our universe? It is us. We are the universe, literally. I have a theory.
Only thing that makes me think of is that we're not alone. That's the only thing that makes me think of. I get what she's alluding to, but I don't really kind of align with what she's thinking. But it just, that zooming out and showing you just makes me, or it just adds fuel to my theory that we're not alone. You see how that thing could, how it could potentially zoom out and what it would potentially look like if we were staring at it from afar? There's no possible way we could be alone.
3 more places in the universe where I think the aliens are not having fun. Number 1, anyone even kind of close to Betelgeuse. Even if you've never gone stargazing in your entire life, you've probably heard of Betelgeuse because it's one of the brightest stars in the sky and it's part of a very famous constellation, Orion. But the reason you've probably heard about it so much lately, and my favorite thing about the star, is that it has the highest potential out of any of the stars you can clearly see in the night sky to just eat and die at any moment. Which, in case you didn't know, Betelgeuse makes the sun, which is 99.8% of the mass of our entire solar system, look like a shrimp. Stars that big don't tend to live that long. For example, Betelgeuse is only around 10 million years old, but when they die, you do not want to be there. If you're within even 160 light years of an explosion of that magnitude, it could really mess up your day. Even if you're lucky to be far away enough to not get your planet stripped down to its iron core, you're probably still getting a roundhouse kick of lethal radiation. The best way I can think to describe living anywhere near this star is essentially like if you were in a neighborhood and that one like weird kind of off the rails neighbor you have just like had a nuclear warhead sitting in his backyard and he's like, I might set it off today, maybe not. Number 2, all of the aliens living in the Boötes void. In case you didn't know, if you zoom out really far in the observable universe, you can basically see that the galaxies form this somewhat of a web pattern. And a natural side effect of that is that there's these big gaps everywhere where there's not that much stuff going on. At a whopping 330 million light years across, Boötes void is one of the largest of these voids. In this space, there should be around 2,000 galaxies. There's 60 there. I feel like living in one of these galaxies is like the galactic equivalent of sitting at one of the lunch tables at school and then everybody gets up and leaves. These galaxies have like nobody showed up to my birthday party energy. They're like, where's everybody at? Why is y'all leave? Okay, my third and final example is all of the aliens living in the tail of the tadpole galaxy. I just feel like it would be rough to evolve as a species to the point to where you understand what a galaxy is and what it's supposed to look like. And you can just kind of be like, why is the rest of ours over there? Like, ooh, the rest of the galaxy is just like dragging us behind. 3 more places in the universe where I think the aliens are not.
That was the thing. I briefly remember, and we were at one point in time going through a few videos about Beetlejuice, but it's been so long since we've talked about it, I forget how close we are in relation to Beetlejuice. Because a lot of times when those stars and different things go supernova, it takes a while for us to see the light. It takes a while for the light to get to us. So I forgot how far. I remember them speaking about it in relation to the sun and how massive it was in relation to the sun and how many suns you can fit in there. But I just don't remember if we were close enough to feel the effects of Beetlejuice. You know what I mean? And that's the thing, like stars that are far away from us, they could already be done went supernova and different things like that. And we just haven't seen the light from them yet. That's the crazy thing about space and the distance and everything, how far everything is from us.
What if the world really did end in 2012 and we're all just living in a parallel timeline where time does not really exist because we only think it does? That pretty much explains why time only exists when we pay attention to it. Part of your karma as a soul on this planet is to pay attention to time. When you stop paying attention to time, you're actually ascending. And that's what they don't want you to do, is ascend out this. When you're not paying attention to time, ain't that when it's going by the most fastest? You start paying attention to all of this when you start caring about it so much, because when you start caring about yourself, this don't matter no more, because you're gonna be you regardless. You're gonna go on for infinity. You're literally gonna beat the game of time if you boss the up and get on your stand on business spiritually. That's why when you don't pay attention to time, you're actually paying off your karmic debt that you have here as a soul throughout your reincarnation. And then when you do pay attention to time, then you're getting sucked into this and you're not actually paying attention to yourself. So when you look inwards, you don't pay attention to time outwards. And that's how the universe pays attention to if you're actually doing your while you're here on this planet. You already knowing. What if the world...
The entire time she was speaking about that, I'm still thinking about these calendars. You know what I mean? These calendars, the Ethiopian calendars, and how things are supposed to be lined up. And it kind of makes me think about time. Because if we're operating on the wrong calendar as it is, then it makes sense to say, okay, does time really exist? Because I'm thinking I'm this age when technically I could be this age. So does time, is it really a factor? I don't know. That could have been the awakening I needed as far as the whole time thing goes, because I've been searching for questions surrounding that for the longest.
My favorite and most fascinating thing about the universe, and I study the universe, I'm an astrophysicist, is not black holes. It's not the fact that time and space get inverted, not the fact that there are magnetars, these neutron stars, which have magnetic fields that are so strong that they can rip the electrons from your body. Not the fact that there are 100 trillion rogue planets floating aimlessly through our galaxy is the theory of emergence, which states simply that individual parts come together and create systems, and in those systems have behaviors and properties the individual parts themselves don't have. Any neuroscientist can tell you the structure of the brain, what it's made of, how chemicals affect mood, but what they can't tell you is how all of these parts come together and produce consciousness. I can tell you that a galaxy is made up of individual stars, but when you step back and look at a galaxy, you will see it in fact behaves as a fluid, and it even has waves that propagate through it. Most fascinating example is us, humans. You bring a bunch of humans together and we create and produce things that on our own none of us could produce, feel, think, or do. We create rockets and leave the planet. I got really inspired on this. Emergence, my favorite theory, made a YouTube video about it, so go check that out. I will never pass up the opportunity to speak on Emergence, my favorite and most fascinating.
First of all, like, I didn't realize until I don't know how far into the video I was that I'm just thinking he just holding an astronaut around just as a prop for the video, to still pay attention to it and realize that it's a microphone that he's holding up to his mouth. So that kind of threw me for a loop right there, first of all. But man, like, the more and more I keep diving into space and different things like that, it just makes you think more and more about this whole simulation theory. You know what I mean? It just, I don't know why it does, but that's the feeling. And he broke it down so eloquently, and he was able to articulate it so well, and it still made me think about a simulation.
The universe didn't have a beginning, and it won't have an end. And even though it's does anyone want to tell me? The universe didn't have a beginning, and it won't have an end. And even though it's expanding, it constantly creates new matter. So it'll look roughly the same for eternity. Overall, it's unchanging. This is the steady state theory, of which many scientists were advocates for in the mid-20th century. So why doesn't anyone think it's true anymore? Well, because we now know that the universe has changed over time dramatically.
Big
Because
bang.
light travels at a set speed, as we look farther out in space, we also look farther back in time. And when we look to the distant past, we can clearly see that cosmic structures were less developed. Space was more dense with stuff. And the farthest thing we can see, the CMB, is direct evidence that the universe was so dense and hot at one point that nothing but plasma existed. The universe is clearly not unchanging. It evolved from an initial hot and dense state. It had a beginning, and it started with a bang.
Maybe it did, maybe it did. You know what I mean? That whole Big Bang theory is still, it's still being tossed around, and so many people have disproven it. So we'll continue to figure out whether that happened or not. You know what I mean? And then to speak on what he said about it being dense, the reason why I think it's not so dense now is because they're talking about it constantly expanding out. So yeah, early on, when it was probably compacted, everything was hot. Everything's close together. Everything is, you know what I mean, what it was. But now that it's steadily expanding and has been expanding, according to scientists, then that's why you don't have it in the condition that it was before. It's my thought.
Story time when the universe told me to break up with my toxic ex-boyfriend. I was in a relationship for a few years and it was not good, but it was in my 20s and I was completely blinded by my love for him. Back in the day, I used to believe that that was my twin flame, my soulmate, whatever. I don't believe in twin flames anymore. It's a personal belief.
What is a twin flame?
Then, I completely believed in it and I was like, no, we have to be together. We cannot break up. Well, the universe was like, no, this is not your twin flame. This is not your soulmate. This is just a temporary experience and you need to get the hell out. And I'll tell you how the universe told me how to get rid of it. I'm doing a meditation and I'm sitting down and I have like crystals and incense going on and everything. And I was really deep in the meditation. And I don't even remember what happened. I think that was one of the first like astral travel things I was doing. And all of a sudden I hear a bang, like loud bang. And it shook me to my core in my meditation to the point that I went like, and I got back and I felt completely like, it's like my soul got sucked back into my body. Super creepy. So it took me like 10 minutes to kind of like recenter myself and say, what was that? I look around the room, nothing's weird. Go to the window and I was like, what is a gunshot? Like something happened? Like I was freaking out. I look, the window's closed, everything's shut, but it was so loud, it was close to me. I looked to the side, no joke guys. I have a crystal bowl where I carry my crystals in it, and the bowl is made out of quartz. It was split in two. The bowl was split into a perfect crack in two. And I'm like looking around, I'm like, did it fall? Like, How did this just spontaneously crack in two? Right away, I'm like, there must be heat. Maybe I put the incense close to it and it heated it up and the heating split it into nothing. There was crystals on it. So my logical brain's like, what? Okay, maybe the crystal was so heavy on it that it split it, but I've had crystals on it for like 6 months now. So that was my sign. That was my sign. Split, cut, broke, no reason, just enough. I was like, if that is not a sign, I don't know what is. Now, there may be some scientific answer till this day because my logical brain's like science. But weird, no? Story time.
So what's like, I get that's the confirmation, but I don't even know if I could take that as the confirmation. But what do I know? I'm not into crystals and all that kind of stuff like that. So if that's giving you your confirmation and you feel comfortable with that, but I would still need more. I don't know. I would need more. Like what provides me the clarity? What shows me, what tells me or points me in a direction of something, you know what I mean? That he did, that he was doing, that, you know what I mean? Or why couldn't this be something that we worked out? You know, as long as certain things weren't happening to her in the relationship, you know what I mean? Certain things you can't come back from. But I don't know, those crystals, I've never been into crystals. So y'all would have to break that down and explain that to me. You know, it would have freaked me out. But I don't know if I would have took that as the sign, but she was able to say that it meant split, so.
If you know me, you know that I like to be organized, and so everything in my house has a spot, and very rarely do I not put said thing in said spot. Anyways, this morning, I'm getting ready. I gotta put some deodorant on. I reach for my deodorant in the bathroom. It's not there. Anyways, I'm in a rush, so I go to my dance bag because I know that I have another one in my dance bag. Put deodorant on, leave it in the dance bag because that's where that one belongs. Walk back to the bathroom because now I have to brush my teeth. I reach for my toothpaste, which is in the same spot as where my deodorant should be. When I reach for my toothpaste, my deodorant is magically reappeared. It is now there. 1. Did I walk in to a new parallel universe? 2.
Could be.
Is Joe messing with me? If you know me, you know that I like to be...
Or, if you like me, you got kids. It's something of mine is always being taken. Deodorant. They're getting tall enough now that I'm looking for my tank tops. Like, all of this type of stuff. You know what I mean? And you leave out, you come back, and it's back there. Like, they didn't think you would notice it missing. Like, come on, fam. Get out of here, bro. But yeah. That would be the only thing something like that is happening in my crib. Or, like she said, you tapped into a different universe somehow. You might need to figure that out. I don't know. Listen, man, y'all get at me in the comment section. Let me know what you thought of this video. And stick around and stay tuned. The next one I'm going.